In this episode, Ray makes the morning pilgrimage to the Moeraki Boulders, where he films another tutorial. He and Lynette then visit the quirky Steampunk HQ in Oamaru before searching for a new lighthouse in Timaru.
Morning, Ray here. We're well off the beaten track, but as they say, beaten paths are for beaten men. The sleepy fishing village of Moeraki is a bit of the tourist radar, but it's one of my favourite corners of the country.
Actually, in Māori, Moeraki means sleepy skies.
And that's exactly what we're going to photograph this morning.
I made the effort to arise early and drive for 10 minutes to reach this beach. The advantage of doing landscape photography in autumn is that I get a full night's sleep. It wasn't long before the hordes of tourist photographers arrived. We were waiting for the dawn. As we set up our cameras, we were hoping for a fleeting moment when the rising sun would penetrate the bank of clouds. Lights, cameras, action! And then it was all over. I had ample time to shoot a decent tutorial on the topic of seascapes.
Now, there's 3 tips I want to give you about shooting on the coast. Firstly is safety. You don't want big surf or breakers coming and sweeping you and your tripod into the sea. So if you shoot on an outgoing tide, the water will be going away from you. Secondly, if you shoot on an outgoing tide, the beach will be swept nicely of all footprints. And thirdly, the rocks will be nice and shiny.
At sunrise, I bracketed 3 long exposures, which I fused together in post. Then I continued with my tutorial about seascapes.
Now there are 3 ways we could approach shooting the scene. One is to shoot contre-jour, as the French say, shooting into the light. But the boulders will become black silhouettes and you may have problems with lens flare. The second way is to bracket your exposures. You could expose for the boulders so they're not black, and then expose for the sky so it's not burnt out and white. You could use HDR, which is high dynamic range, and you could fuse all those exposures together in post-processing. 3, let's be creative and do something a little different. Let's avoid the obvious, the blazing ball of fire creeping over the horizon.
There's a lot to learn about photography, and I wanted to show my students how to think outside the box. So I made the most of this opportunity to work the location, putting theory into practice. When closely observed, these giant marbles have intricate textures and vibrant colours. And while these boulders seem circular, they are in fact spheres. When shooting at 90 degrees to the sun, these concretions become side-lit, which gives them 3-dimensional form. A final teaching point. The best tool of composition is your feet. Getting low down or up high can provide a fresh viewpoint.
Lynette and Ray here. I've got up really early, driven and walked to the Moeraki Boulders, and now we've packed up and we're heading up the Otago coastline We've got to Oamaru, into the Victorian district. Is from way back in the late 1800s, and there's these wonderful buildings made out of Oamaru stone. And now we've got to the steampunk capital of New Zealand, right here in Oamaru. Let's explore it. Well, that was the Steampunk Museum of Oamaru. We're headed north now to Timaru, where there's a place called Salisbury, my namesake. I'd really like to go there just for fun. Well, here we are at the Timaru Lighthouse, rising high, towering above Caroline Bay in the wharf area.
If you'd like to explore Ray's photography course, click the yellow button. Or watch the next episode where Ray and Tom travel to Mount Cook in the heart of winter. Then they wait out a storm in Wanaka, visiting the weird and wonderful puzzling world.